Hi, I'm Unruly Anime. The story begins in a world where demihumans are slaves to humans. Our protagonist, Banaza, is nice to the demihumans, but he is hated by the humans because of it. Even the demihumans warn him about being kind to them, but Banaza insists. Banaza wishes everyone could just get along, but not many feel the same way. Just then, Banaza gets summoned to another world. Where he is told that he is a hero candidate. He is now in the magical kingdom of Plyrode, but they're in the middle of a prolonged battle against the Dark Army. The kingdom has been summoning potential heroes from other worlds in the hopes that they will fight the Dark Army for them. The first course of action is to assess Banaza's abilities. In exchange for returning to level 1, after being summoned to their world, candidates receive divine blessings from their gods. These are powers that no ordinary person can acquire simply by training. It is called divine revelation. Banaza is able to read their language, but everyone is horrified when the display shows that Banaza did not receive divine revelation. His stats are simply those of an ordinary person. This is incredibly disappointing, and the summoners deem this a failure. Banaza tried to tell them that he's just an ordinary merchant, so now he asks that they simply send him home. Just then, everyone is in awe of a different candidate as they state that someone has appeared who possesses powers worthy of the legendary hero. Everyone runs to this guy as all his stats are level 999. They deem him their savior, and they beg that he fight for them. Banaza would just like to go home, but his words go unheard. He tries to think of a way to have them send him home, but the king is busy declaring that the blonde guy will be their hero. Some time later, Banaza gets tossed into a carriage and taken away. A look back to just a moment ago shows the king telling Banaza that his summoning gate closed and they couldn't send him home. The kingdom acknowledges that it's their fault, so they will compensate. Instead of simply getting rid of him, they will allow him to live in the Deleveza forest in the north, where he can live out the rest of his useless life. The only condition is that he not tell anyone about the mistake they made. On the way there, Banaza's escort explains that he's not allowed to speak to him. Banaza is very nice, and he's able to get the guy to talk. He reveals that in this country, it doesn't matter if you're a human or a demihuman. They're all treated equally. Banaza thinks about how things weren't looking so good at first. He has the worst stats. He's being forced to live in the forest, and there's some dark army threatening humanity. However, Banaza won't be looked down upon anymore, so he begins to think that this world might not be so bad. It takes 20 whole days for them to reach the forest. When they do, Banaza is given a bottomless bag that has enough money and food to last him for a while. His driver warns that the Dark Army lurks around in this forest, so if he wants to live, he encourages Banaza to get away from there as fast as possible. When alone, Banaza takes a sword from his inventory and notices some slime nearby. They look similar to the ones from his old world, so he assumes that they won't attack him. He is very wrong, so Banaza must defend himself. He manages to survive the encounter, but his cheap weapon has already begun to fall apart. Just then, a notification reveals that he just reached level 2. His stats look different from before, but Banaza is confused by this strange symbol that has replaced the numbers. Banaza turns on voice notifications, so the voice tells them that he has acquired some magic spells. He will be able to activate them without opening any windows, and Banaza is shocked by all the spells he has acquired. Just then, an alert reveals that a Monster Lore spell was placed on the bottomless bag he was given. This Monster Lore is definitely why the slime attacked him. Also, considering that the weapon he was given was practically useless, Banaza determines that the kingdom was setting him up to die. The voice would like to know if he wants to remove the lure spell, so he does. And Banaza wonders why they would use magic that's so easy to get rid of. Banaza goes to look for a safe spot to take shelter, but the notification stops him. It reveals that the Force has a very high concentration of milesium. It's a generic term for liquids or gases emitted by demons. It causes serious harm to humans, so the voice would like to know if he wants to purify the forest. Our unassuming protagonist thinks it's a good idea if that's something the system can do, especially if he will have to live in the forest. The system explains that it will consume 1/3 of his magic, but Banaza figures that he is so powerless that it doesn't matter. Banaza is shocked when the purification spell activates, and it ends up being a grand display of magic. Just then, the notifications go crazy as Banaza levels up several times. Back at the castle, the princess points out how terrible it was to send Banaza to the forest, especially since everything was all their fault. The worst part about it is that the Dark Army set up their front lines in the Dilavitsa forest. The king couldn't care less, as he just called Banaza a useless piece of trash unfit to be their hero. Just then, the king is urgently told that someone should just use the highest holy magic of all purification. The king is amazed that the golden-haired hero was able to acquire such high-level holy magic already, but he is shocked when he is told that it was not him. The golden-haired hero has headed south, but the purification spell was used in the forest to the north. Back with our boy Banaza, he finds that he has leveled up all the way to level 367. He didn't even eliminate any monsters, so Banaza determines that in this world, you can level up just by using magic. What's even more confusing to him is that the strange symbol is still showing up next to his stats. This is all a lot to take in, so Banaza decides to hide the level of notifications. Banaza checks to see how much magic he has left, and he is surprised to see that it's been fully restored in just seconds. Instead of thinking he has some amazing ability, Banaza assumes that his magic capacity is just terrible. He worries that he might still be in danger, as he assumes that his magic is so weak that it probably didn't purify the force that well. Banaza is banned from living in the town, so the system recommends that he use shape-shifting magic. This would allow him to go unnoticed, so Banaza gives it a try. He tries out changing gender, but regrets it pretty quickly and changes to something better suited for him. The system then recommends that he use teleportation magic, so he teleports into the city. In his old world, teleportation was a spell that only really powerful sorcerers could use, so Banaza assumes that this world is different and everyone can use it. Here, the clever Banaza tries to teleport himself to his old world, but it doesn't work. He then looks for a guild so he can make some money. Registering as a merchant might be difficult since he is so new, so he hopes to find an adventurer's guild. That way, he can do some monster hunting or transport quests. Luckily, his system gives him directions to the guild. There, it is explained that adventurers are assigned ranks based on their accomplishments. They can earn better rewards and accept tough requests as their rank rises. It's pretty much the same as guilds in his old world. So Banaza decides to register. He can't give his real name, so he goes with Flyo instead. Flyo wants to make money quickly, but he is too low of a rank to earn very much. Just then, Flyo overhears a girl in need of someone who can escort her to the Dilavisa forest. Unfortunately, she doesn't have much money to offer. Even worse, it is rumored that the Dark Army has its frontline base in that forest. No one is willing to take her, but she is desperate to help her family that lives near there. Some adventurers shove her aside when they become annoyed, so Flyo offers to take her. She explains that she doesn't have much to offer, but Flyo says it's not a big deal since he has been there before and he can just teleport them there. Everyone is absolutely shocked to hear him say that he can use teleportation magic, but they don't believe he can use such a rare ability, and they just think he is lying. The clueless Flyo is surprised that it's not a beginner spell, especially since it didn't even use that much of his mana. Just then, one of the royal knights, named Balarossa, demands that he get away from the girl. She declares that Flyo doesn't look like a skilled enough sorcerer to use such an advanced spell, so she is suspicious of him. Her group is just as skeptical, and they all accuse him of planning to do something devious. Flyo realizes that he can't afford to cause any suspicion, so he offers to take them all with them. They go somewhere hidden so he can use teleportation, but Balarossa wants him not to try anything funny. Flyo instantly teleports them and they are shocked. Teleportation alone is already unbelievable, but he was able to take them really far away. They wonder if he's a great sorcerer of the highest order, but Flyo just tells them that he's a rookie adventurer who can use a bit of magic. They all apologize for treating him so poorly, but he's just glad that they aren't suspicious of him anymore. Just then, the young girl notices that the forest isn't covered by a thick layer of Milesium anymore. Flyo prepares to tell her what he did, but his system warns that it's dangerous to inform a demon about him using purification magic. Flyo is confused by the mention of a demon, but Balarossa and her group aim their weapons at the little girl. The guild has been suspicious of her, so Balarossa demands that she show them her true form. The little girl acts terrified at first, but soon she shocks everyone when she reveals her true self. Her name is Fenris, younger sister of Fengril of the Infernal Four. She releases enough Melicium to bring all the girls to their knees, and Balarosa is shocked, as she wasn't expecting the girl to be a demon related to the Infernal Four. Fenris is impressed to see that Fly is unaffected by Melicium, so she decides to leave him for last. Flyo manages to save Balarosa, but he knows that he won't be able to run away himself while still protecting the four girls. Flyo commands his ability to teleport all the girls away, and he impresses himself when it actually works. Flyo doesn't know why he was chosen to come here, but he refuses to be eliminated. Before he gets to do anything in this new world, Flyo decides to stand up and fight, so he prepares to try out every single spell he has. I appreciate you viewing my anime recap, Unruly Family. Please let me know what you think about Chillin in another world with level 2 super cheat powers by liking, sharing, subscribing, and leaving a comment.
Take